Great Thursday here at the Big A as those cold winds howl off Jamaica Bay. The good news, February is coming down to the finish line. It's our last Thursday of racing in the month of February. It's Richard Migliore, Jason Blewitt. Glad you're with us. MSG tonight, not MSG Plus. Maybe this is a good harbinger for the Rangers against the Coyotes a short while from now. But we've got a lot of thoroughbred racing stuff to talk about, Mig, beginning with the fact that we will be thankful when the curtain comes down on February. It's just been a tough, tough month here in Aqueduct.
It will. It'll be great to close the door on February, and they've already taken entries for March 1st, so we're right around the corner from seeing the better weather, and I like being on before the Ranger game.
I like that as well. Now, regarding headlines, we'll cover a lot of ground before we get to the Thursday action, and it was a very good card here at Aqueduct. But let's dive in. Mike Luzzi, an iconic rider, native of Delaware, a former Eclipse Award-winning apprentice rider back in 1989. He is the latest recipient of the George Wolfe Award.
And very well-deserved winner of the George Wolfe Award. He stands for everything that award is about. He's just such a good person, a hard-working rider, a jockey's jockey, and a tremendous rider. Somebody I don't think ever really got as much credit as he deserved. He put in some sensational rides, and I know, for one, a tough, fierce competitor.
There he is, Godolphin Blue on the rail. That is the 2002 start of the Coaching Club American Oaks. Jill Babb, who fell on her face leaving the gate, but you see the cool, calm, collected riding style of Mike Luzzi in play. Didn't panic, and she'll wind up winning the race for Godolphin and Saeed bin Saror over a decade ago.
I mean, she stumbled for about 4 strides. Mike, always great balance, just sat poised, let her get herself together, and rewarded with a Grade 1 victory here in a very historic race, the Coaching Club American Oaks, and it's fun to watch Mike finish here. And as we all know, he suffered the horrific injuries in the paddock accident here in November, and he's doing great. And I know winning the Wolfe Award is something that every rider cherishes because it's about respect, and respect from your peers. The people that you've competed with are the people that vote on the award, and Mike Luzzi deserved that award.
Veteran rider on this circuit since 1994. I can still remember the buzz he caused that one winter. His first winter here was winning races left and right, and he is a man day in and day out. He's done it both on track and outside of the stable gates, conducted himself in a professional manner. He really is an asset to the game.
Absolutely. And you bring up that first winter he came here. People forget he and Edgar Prado came here together that winter. Mike stuck. Edgar went back. He didn't have as good a winter as Mike. Now, obviously, Edgar came back and obviously had a tremendous career. But Mike Luzzi, a guy that when you were in the room with him, he was a guy you knew you had to beat. He was a tough competitor.
As we come up on the first Sunday of March, how about talking about the first Saturday in May? Kentucky Derby chatter here on the show. And among perhaps the early Derby favorite, his name Dortmund, of course. He's unbeaten, a perfect 4 for 4. He stretched his legs earlier today out at Santa Anita for trainer Bob Baffert.
And from all reports, a sensational workout. He went 7/8 and 25 and 3. Galloped out 1 mile and 38. That'll win a lot of races, let alone in a work. And from what I hear, it was done the right way. He settled early. He finished the right way. And Bob Baffert was saying how he thinks the horse has actually improved since this effort in the Lewis.
Yeah.
Where he now actually is doing things better, settling early, finishing his works. He feels like he's more focused. That's a scary thought for a horse that's 4 for 4.
And he's co-favored, in fact, is the second choice, I should say. 8-1 co-favored regarding single entities in the third and final future pool for the Kentucky Derby that begins Friday. It opens up Friday at noon. It'll run 3 days through Sunday. So Dortmund, a horse to keep an eye on. We shall see San Felipe on March 7th or the Santa Anita Derby. One of those 2 races will be the next spot for Dortmund. If he's yours, where are you going?
I would want to go to the Santa Anita Derby. I think he needs that 1 1/8 miles. I think it's too big a jump to go from 1 1/16 miles to 1 1/4 miles. You want that 1 1/8 miles with that gallop out of 1 1/4 miles. You want a little bit of a tougher test. That's where I would head.
From Bob Baffert to Todd Pletcher, as we come east, we turn our attention to Saturday's card down at Gulfstream Park and the Grade 1 Champagne winner, Daredevil, who was a very good 2-year-old. He'll be launching his 3-year-old debut on Saturday in the Swale.
And he's been feeding up a steady diet of bullet workouts. I mean, just a terrific work tab at Palm Beach Downs. And, you know, there are some concerns here, though. He gets post 1 going 7/8. There is some other speed in the race. You hate to see him have to use him hard to hold his position, but he's probably going to have to. And that isn't always the greatest way to start off your campaign with a horse that possesses speed that you're trying to stretch out. You don't want to turn on that light too much where then you're going to have a hard time slowing him down when the distance is stretching.
I look at that brilliant high cruising speed and just the level he showed in one-turn races last fall at Belmont Park. Both by the way, over sloppy tracks. He strikes me as a horse, though, looking at his running style, the fact that he's by more than ready, that ultimately it's great that he's back in the swale and they'll try to stretch him out, but I think races like the Woody Stevens and the King's Bishop are ultimately going to be where Daredevil winds up.
Yeah, I mean, he kind of leads you to believe, certainly with the amount of natural speed that he possesses, but this might be a good spot to find out if he could take dirt, sit behind horses, and still make a run. He looks like the best horse. Now let's see if he can overcome some adversity.
All right, let's get you back home here to the Big A. Thursday action, first race post of 120. Good-looking crew of older maidens battle 1 mile in the second. We go upstairs to John Umbrial for the call.
ZINGARELLI is sent out for the lead. Hollywood Idol moves up down towards the rail. Cosmo Blue's in between horses. And Chase the Love on the outside. And they're chasing ZINGARELLI around the clubhouse turn. Chase the Love advances into second. And Cosmo Blue is now back running in third. And Chase the Love has now taken over the lead from ZINGARELLI. Cosmo Blue runs in third. Hollywood Idol is next in fourth. Then Jeremy Song in fifth, followed by Retire 55, Ibe Abuchi, and Aleander is the trailer in eighth. The quarter win in 24-1. They're heading up the backstretch. Chase the Love on the lead here by a long neck. ZINGARELLI at the rail in second by a length. And Cosmo Blue is running in third. Hollywood Idol, Retire 55. They're right together. Then it's a length and a half to Jeremy Song in sixth. Aleander now up to seventh. Ibe Abuchi is the trailer. The half went in 50-1. It is Chase the Love, ZINGARELLI at the rail, Cosmo Blue on the outside as they race midway around the far turn. On the inside, ZINGARELLI. On the outside, it's Chase the Love. They are heads apart with Cosmo Blue running in third. Retire 55 is fourth. And then Hollywood Idol off the turn into the stretch. ZINGARELLI on the outside. Chase the Love. ZINGARELLI now clear. Chase the Love is second. Then Cosmo Blue as they pass the eighth pole. ZINGARELLI in front by 2. Chase the Love is second, and Cosmo Blue is third, and ZINGARELLI will break his maiden in his debut start. ZINGARELLI won by 4. Close for second. Chase the Love or Cosmo Blue. Farther back, Jeremy.
And a confident Irider Ortiz Jr. aboard. Couple of taps on the shoulder, and this Irish-bred 4-year-old firster by Bernardini. Just a walk in the park first time out.
He won so easy. Watch Irad coming up here. He's going to start petting on him, letting him know he was happy with his effort. You know, kind of giving him a little bit of love there coming to the wire. That's when you know a horse is winning easy, when the rider has time to not only do it, but even think about it. And this horse had like one of those strides where his head was out and down, kind of a horse that really reaching for ground, and obviously they knew he wanted to go long first time out.
Well, Godolphin Blue, out of a mare, by the way, with this firster, Octave, who was trained by Todd Pletcher during her racing days. Sheikh Mohammed purchased her for $4 million. Bred her to Bernardini, and here you go, her first full. What does it say real fast about this horse that he won so easy going a 2-turn mile in his debut?
Well, I think he did a lot of things right. Very professional. Artie Magnuson, Kieran McLaughlin's chief assistant, does such a good job preparing these horses. Now, you want to see him obviously have to overcome some adversity. I mean, he basically made his own pace, his own race today. You want to reserve judgment until they get a little dirt in their face. It's like what I like to say. A lot of horses can throw a punch. You want to see them be able to take a punch.
All right, ZINGARELLI, we'll look for him second time out, but let's get the horses that have a bit more seasoning than ZINGARELLI. A nice crew of 3-year-old filly New York bred allowance horses competed in the 5th, 1 turn, 3/4, and we send it back to Johnny I.
Get Stones going for the lead. Enduring Touch now moves up. Midnight Champagne is third with Graham Crackers down at the rail in 4th. Majestic Jessica runs in between horses in 5th. Bourbon State of Mind on the outside in 6th. Then it's Nona Joe in 7th, and Take Issue trails the field in 8th. And in the meantime, Enduring Touch steps away to lead by 2.5 lengths. The quarter went in 23-3. Graham Crackers giving chase in 2nd. Midnight Champagne and Everybody Must Get Stones. They're right together, 3rd and 4th. Nona Joe now up to 5th. Then it's Bourbon State of Mind, followed by Majestic Jessica and Take Issue. Coming for the quarter pole. Enduring Touch on the inside and Midnight Champagne on the outside. And Midnight Champagne sweeps to the lead. Enduring Touch now dropping back. Passed by Bourbon State of Mind, who moves into 2nd. Take Take Issue putting a late run on the outside. Midnight Champagne, his Bourbon State of Mind. Here's Take Issue. The three of them together inside the 16th pole. Bourbon State of Mind, Take Issue. It's between those two. Take Issue gets up for the win. Bourbon State of Mind was second, then Midnight Champagne and Graham Crackers.
This race a lot closer than the second, and it's a photo to decide the victory between Take Issue and the 8 Midnight Champagne. And actually, she's passed by the 6 Bourbon State of Mind, who got a great ride from Jose Ortiz.
Yeah, I mean, it was a terrific horse race. It wound up being basically a head bob. But the one horse, Take Issue, moving way up in company. Then maiden 25s to go to 75,000. Usually it's the other way around. You have to go down in class after breaking your maiden for a tag. And it's Junior Alvarado's world, and everybody else is living in it right now. I just don't think anybody's riding any better than him.
This was win, I think, number 2 on another 3-win day program for a rider who won 4 Saturday, 3 Sunday, another hat trick today on Thursday. He's at the top of his game. Steve Asmussen and Toby Sheets. I was impressed as we throw it to break with the third-place finisher, Midnight Champagne, who vied hard, 4 wide, never backed down until deep stretch. But what about a potential Bayshore prep? We've got a solid preview of some good-looking New York-bred 3-year-olds when we come back. Summer starts here. BelmontStakes.com for those Belmont Stakes tickets that went on sale. A 3-day festival as we get back to the cold surroundings of Aqueduct, but the flowers are always in bloom here at the Big A. Over the paddock here, it's the MIG. It's Jason. Glad you're with us. And I'll tell you, I was going over, MIG, the stakes rundown for that festival during Belmont Week, the 4th through the 6th, and it's just loaded in 6 Grade 1s on Belmont Day.
Yeah, just a tremendous week of racing, not just a tremendous day of racing, although that day of racing is unparalleled in my estimation. Aside from Breeders' Cup, you're never going to see a better card.
Half a dozen Grade 1s on that Belmont Day card. 147th running of the Belmont, the 3rd longest and oldest leg of the Triple Crown. Might we be dealing with a situation? You've got another Triple Crown on the line. Dortmund, American Pharoah set to come back, and things really starting to heat up. Even the Big Beast is coming back. Unraced since the King's Bishop. He's running Sunday at Oaklawn Park.
Yeah, a horse that we may see on Belmont Day in a race like the Met Mile, and certainly the Big Beast was aptly named. A big beast he is, ability-wise as well as size, an imposing individual. I'm still on Upstart. Upstart's still my Derby horse. So we've got some big names, especially out of California, but I'm going to stick with the New York bred.
April 4th, well, you are New York bred. April 4th in the TwinSpires.com Wood Memorial for Upstart. But race 7, I think, speaking of the Wood, not out of the realm of possibilities. The winner might take a shot in the Bayshore, or at least look at it. Let's see what shook out on the inner track as we go back to Johnny I for these 3-year-old New York breds.
Chapter is racing in second. Postalicious on the outside. Now Copernicus moves up a spot at the 3rd. Postalicious is 4th alongside Deficit Hawk in 5th. Bullheaded Boy is 6th. Already 8 lengths from the front. And farther back, our Cardinal 1 is the trailer. Big long shot. Breaking the Fever leads by a length. Copernicus coming through on the inside of Breaking the Fever. That is Final Chapter. A close-up 3rd through a quarter in 23-1. They round the far turn. Breaking the Fever by a length. Final Chapter is 2nd, and Copernicus is 3rd. Then it's Deficit Hawk in 4th. A break of 4 to Postalicious and a Bullheaded Boy, and way back is our Cardinal 1. At the head of the stretch, the half was running 46-2. Breaking the Fever challenged here by Final Chapter. Final Chapter takes over. Breaking the Fever back in 2nd. Then Deficit Hawk, Copernicus, and Bullheaded Boy. Final Chapter strong here in the stretch. Final Chapter drawing away to win by 6. Breaking the Fever held 2nd, close for 3rd between Bullheaded Boy and Deficit Hawk.
A lot to like with Final Chapter, MIG, who's won his last 2 starts and could not, I mean, quite simply couldn't have been any more impressive today.
He's such an imposing individual, beautiful horse, big, strong horse. And the strides he made from his first start to his second start, it looked like the light went on. He figured it out. He became a racehorse. And I think he improved from his second start to his third start. And you know that with his pedigree and with the way he looks physically, Distance shouldn't be a problem. I think he'll be able to stretch out, but it seems like the natural order of things would be to step up to 7/8 in a race like the Bayshore. This was a very strong race today.
Yeah, it's a big purse, I think $400,000, and you see where you stand with him. And he's clearly a horse who, as you noted, from his first to his second to his second to his third, he's taken big jumps forward in all three of those races. And you mentioned his pedigree. He's by Thunder Gulch, Colonial Affair, Dam, so a nice Belmont Stakes winning pedigree. And speaking of having a winning pedigree, how about his owner and breeder, 102-year-old John Nehru?
And just such an aptly named horse, Final Chapter, for a man that has meant so much to the game, first as a trainer and then certainly as a visionary, somebody who has made a positive impact on the game and continues to do so at his age, and a great horseman, Michael Hushin, whose horses get better, and when he sends them out, you know they're prepared to run.
Angel Cruz, the winning rider, the complete package with Final Chapter. As we get on to the Furious 5, it's Johnny I once again. The calls are 1, 3, 4, 6, and 8.
Charge here. Discreet Force with the lead. Ran a half in 48 seconds. Discreet Force by 3. E-Coach all out in second. Island Candy down at the rail. Blue Ballerina has dropped back. Discreet Force in front with a 16th to the wire. Discreet Force is the leader. Then it's E-Coach and Island Candy. And it's a wire-to-wire score for Discreet Force in the opener. E-Coach second, then Island Candy and Hoop Skirt. 1-2 at the top of the stretch, and Charming Eyes is the new leader. Appearance is back running in second. A big break. Back to Sarah's Big Day. On the far outside is Golden Cheetah. Charming Eyes with the lead in deep stretch, and Charming Eyes is going to get the victory here and get the victory quite impressively, won by almost 4. Appearance was second. Golden Cheetah finished third. Sarah's Big Day was 48 seconds. Hold Everything, trying to hold off War Hero, who's on the outside, and Awesome Loop. But those two have now passed Hold Everything, and now War Hero's in front. And War Hero is opening up. War Hero with a 4-length lead as they come on down to the finish. War Hero takes it. Awesome Loot was second. Close for third between Drumroll and First Bitch. The half in 48 and 2, and Mrs. Sunday has the lead now, and Mrs. Sunday has opened up. Mrs. Sunday by almost 4. Harlan 6 on the outside of Cool Charlie as they chase Mrs. Sunday with a 16th to the wire. Mrs. Sunday, Harlan 6, Mrs. Sunday wins by 2.5. Harlan 6 was second. Cool Charlie finished third, and Weekend Score was fourth. Into the stretch. Here comes Moonlight Fantasy. Glenbrook's on the outside. Moonlight Fantasy takes over. Glenbrook moves into second. Barbara Maria down at the rail. Then Don't Blame Her, and Regifting is putting in a strong run on the outside. A strong late run for Regifting, who comes from off the pace to pull off the upset and give Junior Alvarado his third victory.
10 Big A wins over the last 29 races at Aqueduct, going back to Saturday's first for Junior Alvarado, and he did it in the nightcap MIG at a big price with Regifting. It wasn't off all that alertly and closed late, but his first of the 3 wins today. Pretty good story here with the number 1 Take Issue, who was going up in class, and I think this is the old adage, a good horse can come from anywhere.
Yeah, absolutely. A stallion that I actually had never heard of before, and you pointed it out to me. And this horse was very resolute, got a terrific ride from Junior. And if you think about what his stud fee is, I think you said it was $1,000.
A G, yeah.
And what this horse earned today, and now in two lifetime wins over $50,000 in earnings, it's pretty good to have a New York bred and a horse with a little bit of ability in New York right now.
Take Issue, filly by Sir Whimsy, who himself by Jumpstart.
Wow.
So he's got a nice solid Overbrook pedigree to fall back on a couple of generations down the line, but it all worked out in today's 5th with a very good ride beneath Junior Alvarado. Frost Giant New York bred standout on the afternoon. We need look no further than today's 7th race, John Nehru Silks, and a crushing win out of Final Chapter, who was just awesome today. Took my breath away.
He really was, and Angel Cruz, I thought, rode really well today. Looks good finishing on him. Nice to see him get an opportunity from Michael Hushin. Look at this horse, just the individually is, just physically, he's such a beautiful specimen, much like the Frost Giants, just a big, stout individual that you know is going to go on, and like the Frost Giants, they run on any surface and any distance.
And like the pedigree of Final Chapter, here's a big-time winner across town at Belmont Park. Frost Giant standing for $10,000 at Keene Stud. Rider standings with another Thursday down, February 26th, believe it or not. And Junior Alvarado, what has impressed you about him over the last week?
I just think he's putting his horses in all the right spots. He's giving them an opportunity to win. I love the way he's finishing on these horses. And you think, Junior was coming off injury not too long ago. To find his rhythm, his confidence, his timing as quickly as he did is a testimony to how hard he worked to get back, and I like that.
Trainer standings, Gary Gullo, a quick start to the day, got the money in the first with Discreet Force, and look at that, tied with Linda for second.
Yeah, Gary doing great. It seems like he's doing great with Angel Cruz in the saddle a lot, but, you know, a lot of good trainers with high percentages up on the leaderboard.
And I'll tell you, Sheikh Mohammed, if he was running everything under Godolphin, he might be the leading owner at the meet. They picked up win number 5 this afternoon. I think Godolphin is 5 for 14. They've left some good horses at the Big Apple, or in the Big Apple, and Artie Magnuson doing a good job with the shed row at Belmont.
Yeah, they really support the New York program year-round, New York racing year-round, I should say, and it's good to see. I think it's important because if this is your home base for the majority of the year, you should support it year-round.
And the purses are good. They've got great help over with Keir McLaughlin's team at beautiful Belmont Park, and we'll go to claims on the afternoon on the inner track. 8 races. We began at 1:20. We ended shortly before 5 p.m., and we've got 1 page of claims, among them a couple of 3-way shakes.
Yeah, you know when a horse is having a shake for him, 2, 3, 4 people in for one horse, a lot of people are attracted to that horse, but kind of the usual suspects at the claiming box today.
Including Gary Barber, who has stepped up his intensity claiming horses lately here in Queens with trainer David Jacobson, but a Friday preview including a 35-length winner last out awaits.
Start your summer at the Belmont Stakes Racing Festival. 3 days of exciting racing action. $10 million on the line. Live music, entertainment, food vendors, and more. Get your tickets today.
But February coming to a close, we turn our sights on the unofficial start of spring. It'll be Gotham Day 2015, 9 days out on Saturday, March 7th. First race post, 1:20 p.m. The Gotham worth 85 total Kentucky Derby points. 50 to the winner will be the highlight on a card that also includes the Tom Fool and the Cat K and a $300 live money handicapping contest on track here at Aqueduct. Did you always like Gotham Day and riding in a race like the Gotham? Considering the winters, some of the winters you rode in New York?
Well, and for me as a kid growing up in New York as a fan first, the Gotham was the penultimate prep race for the Kentucky Derby. It was always an exciting time of the year. And as a kid, it was a race that I always dreamed of winning. And actually, 5 riders are tied for the most wins in the Gotham. And it's Jacinto Vasquez, George Vasquez, Angel Cordero, Mike Smith, and myself. So 4 of the 5 are in the Hall of Fame. That's pretty good company.
No, you were in very good company, and we'll have the 2015 edition just, again, 9 days out on March 7th. We hope you'll join us. But what about Friday's preview? Pick 6 was hit today, a little over 10,000. We'll get on to race number 2 at 1 mile and 70 yards on Friday's card. It's a state-bred non-winners of 1 allowance race, optional claimer for 3-year-old fillies, and Golden Gem will go from the rail as she stretches out.
Yeah, I wonder about the stretch out. That's the fly in the ointment for me, Jason. I think she has more of the look of a horse that's a kind of a closing sprinter type. She's a bit of a fine filly, and she's going to have to prove to me that she can go 2 turns, at least at a short price.
Right, and she's by Wildcat Air as well, and he tends to throw horses that are speedy and 1-turn sprinters. We'll see. Here's a filly by a Cigar Mile winner in Discreet Cat, Jackie Black, who's just all by herself on January 23rd.
Well, you know, I don't really know what to make of this. Obviously, a horse wins by 35 lengths. You've got to be somewhat impressed. Did get a 73 buyer figure, but what was she beating? Honestly, it might have been one of the worst maiden races I've ever seen in the history of New York racing. It would be kind of like me running in a cross-country event against the Chaminade cross-country team.
Fair enough. In spite of Mama, a tough heartbreaker on February 8th, losing a tough photo to Perfect Freud. She can get the distance, though, and that's one thing you just don't know about Golden Gem.
Yeah, and that's the thing. She has the foundation. She's accomplished at the distance. I think she was a bit unlucky here to win. You'd have to think that Junior Alvarado is going to work out out a better trip with her. I think this is definitely the filly to beat.
An 8-race card again. We're only running 8 tomorrow. Keep in mind the late pick 4 begins in race number 5. The pick 6 is sort of an old school feeling. Races 3 through 8. We'll get on to the opening leg of the late pick 4. Without further ado, it'll go as the Friday feature. Pretty solid group, and there's 2 other than optional claimer. These are older fillies and mares. Amulay, the number 2 in the white and black. She's vying 3 wide right now, and she's your horse to beat tomorrow.
And she is. She gets a very tough post position, especially for the mile distance. You're breaking right on top of the turn. She doesn't change leads here. She's in between horses, and she's kind of laboring. You'd like to see her change leads and kick on. I think that outside post is what she's going to have to overcome, and it could be difficult.
Let's go back to January 20th of 2013 from Majestic Market right here on the inner track. Blanked in 7 starts last season as a 4-year-old, but she's unbeaten in a pair of races on the inner track.
And I always say that's important. Horse that shows they like the inner track. She is 2 for 2 on the inner track. But her form's gone a bit south as she went a little bit south running at Laurel. It's good to see her back here on the inner track, but I think she's going to have to find her A game.
Here's a mare by Curlin talking about some of the all-time greats on this show. Agawa, who's kept some good company, and it does seem like Chris Engelhardt has got her in tip-top shape.
Yeah, and she was, I think, in some ways maybe a little bit unlucky to lose here. She kind of middle moved into the race, fought it out gamely, and I like her. I like her post. She's drawn towards the inside. It's a huge thing going in 1 mile.
And you'll have Angel Cruz. You were impressed with his riding on the afternoon. We'll see how he does in race number 5, the purse of $69,000, once again the Friday feature. But a showdown awaits in race number 4, an insider showdown between Andy and Maggie. Let's find out who's good.
The 4th race on Friday feels like one of those races where just about anybody can win. I think you have to find a little bit of a price in here because there's just no horse that you want to take a short price, especially going the mile on the inner track. My idea is to look for something where there's something new happening, and I like the trainer change to John Toscano on the 5 Sister Charm. You also pick up Fernando Haro, who I think has ridden very, very well throughout this winter meet here at the Big A. Sister Charm has 1 race that's good enough to be competitive here, and she gets that positive trainer change. Well, what good trainers do is they get them back to their best race, in this case, a lightly raced maiden, perhaps even improve on that. And if that's the case, Sister Charm could win this race, and she could win it at a very fair mutual as we head out to Maggie.
Thanks, Andy. Well, for today's Paddock Insider, taking a look at the Friday card, race number 4, it's a maiden claiming for New York-bred fillies. Going to take a look at number 9 in here, Moonlit Posse for the Steve Asmussen and Toby Sheets barn. And yeah, she hasn't shown much, that's for sure. But she's stretching out in distance, and despite being a daughter of Posse, physically she looks like one that might relish going long for the fact that she's big, she's scopy. Now, she's probably finally fit as well. And 2, maybe she gets put on the front end. This race not having that much speed might build her confidence, and she might get brave if she can lead them on a merry chase. So it's Moonlit Posse for tomorrow, and that's your Paddock Insider. Guys, back to you.
It's a game of opinions. Who will prove best in tomorrow's 4th? We'll see a big field, and we've got big fields lined up over the next few days here at Aqueduct. The first race post of 1:20 p.m. on MSG Plus. We say, let's go Rangers. And for the Mig and myself, we say thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you tomorrow night right here on Aqueduct Insider.